Hey everybody, I'm here with the Soul Purpose Project, and today I'm interviewing Ari Hershberg. Ari, so nice to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me, Laurel.
My pleasure. So the first question is, what can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do for work right now?
Okay, a little bit about myself. Really into athletics, uh, volunteering for different events, checking out good music, and eating well. I love to cook. And my two projects is one, I'm the event producer for the Gluten-Free Health and Wellness Festival. It was the first year, just happened in 2014 in February. Brought in keynote speaker Dr. William Davis, the gentleman who wrote Wheat Belly, to kind of break through the soundbite of gluten-free so people can understand it a little bit more than what they're hearing in the media. And and also something that was beyond Victoria usual, like something big to go to Victoria that usually wouldn't, we'd have to go fly to Vancouver or drive to Vancouver or Toronto or Calgary. I want to do stuff like that in this city. And I'm also just started my own agency, a speaker agency, to represent really good talent in this city and abroad to speak at different events throughout the world.
Wow, busy guy.
Yeah, busy.
Good, good. So, Ari, what do the words soul purpose mean to you when you hear them? How would you personally define that?
Well, to me, sole purpose is it's things you kind of tend to want to do all the time, and you spend the hours and the hours and hours getting better. You might have been half decent at it to begin with, but something that you just are happy to like to do it for hours. Like for me, I love to cook. I could cook all day and I wouldn't lose a beat, or I could talk to speakers and I wouldn't lose a beat, or talk about health. I don't mind putting in huge hours on it, and I think that's your sole purpose is things that you don't even think that you're putting in lots of hours until your shoulder goes or your neck goes. You're like, oh, I've been putting in a lot of hours.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your purpose, or if you know what that is?
I think it's getting more clear as I get older. Um, I'm definitely a people person, and I don't have to be front and center. Actually, I like uh, being behind the great speakers who get to make big differences. And so I've always been attracted to people who have done great things. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it be dance like Michael Jackson and singing, or great culinary chefs like well, there's so many, or great athletes and beyond and beyond. I love being behind the scene and getting their message out, or even like Dr. William Davis, to be the guy behind it, to be able to bring in something that can either educate people on health or make them think about food differently or their activities, or with other speakers like athletes that I've represented who run and won eco challenges, which you've never heard of eco challenge. It's even exhausting to mentally visualize. It's so tiring. It makes an Ironman look like nothing. I love being able to get these people on stage and showing people in the audience that it's not impossible. It's just a lot of small steps, and it seems like it's a lot of small steps to be excellent at anything. So I like being behind all that, all the people who can really execute that well, so people can learn. Oh, I could do a 5K marathon, a 5K run, or a 2K run, and maybe one day I could do a 10K run, or maybe I could cook a little bit more healthy out of a box instead of a box from scratch. And if I just did this 5-minute recipe, maybe I can get to a 10-minute recipe one day and get a little bit more complex. I love these little small steps people are excellent at. I like being behind them so they can talk to thousands of people.
Great, great. So, Ari, do you think that everybody has a soul purpose?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Like I think everyone does. I mean, I think that's why we all of my generation loved Star Wars and the next generation loved Harry Potter, because they identify with the lead character in themselves. Because they're good at something. Everyone's good at something. Everyone's great at something. It's just paying attention to what you love and what you can put in your thousands and thousands of hours at, and not thinking anything of it other than, man, this is fun.
So, Ari, how did you get clear on your soul purpose? What was your process around that?
Um, well, um, I guess a lot of reading and I think like many people, neurosis of trying to figure it out. But then when you kind of just keep doing what you're doing and you know that it's the thing that you like, then it's all of a sudden you wonder, why did I work so hard at trying to figure it out? It was already there. Um, yeah, I think it's just kind of letting go and just knowing, well, I love to quilt. I don't, but I love to quilt. Why am I not putting more energy into quilting? Oh, why am I not putting more energy into writing? Because every time I write, a person might think like that's my happy place. I forget about my partner because I've been writing for 10 hours or reading for 10 hours about something that's fascinating. Yeah, I think it's more easy than we think it is. I remember reading Pro Bronson's book years ago, and it was good, but again, it's always back to just what makes you happy.
All right. So, in terms of your purpose, would you say that you're living it day to day? And if so, how do you know?
Um, well, it's easy. I mean, it's not like I'm not. It's not like I'm not neurotic anymore. I think it's my heritage. It's my ability. It's a great skill actually. But I want to get up every morning. Like I jump out. Like I got so many things I want to work on and play with and create or just take it to the next step that I'm a little bit, if anything, nervous that I don't have enough time in the day. So I think that's what it is, and I'm really happy doing it.
Excellent.
Mostly, not always, mostly.
Good qualifier. Thank you. So, Art, what do you think is the relationship between your purpose and finances? Do we need to sacrifice in order to live in our soul purpose, or is it actually the ticket to a bigger bank balance? What's your perspective on that?
Well, because I'm still in the beginning of a business, I would say I really like what a lot of people say. It's just like keep your day job if you can, and work hard on your other thing if you have if you have the opportunity and you have a job that's giving you decent pay or enough to live on, do it, and then put your hours into to creating something bigger and better for yourself or a side thing just for fun. I mean, who knows which way it's going to go, and you don't know. So just make sure you're financially covered while you're figuring it out. It's again, it's not hard to do the stuff you love while you're having a safe income.
Gotcha. So, what's a decision you made in the past that got you on course that you would make again today?
I moved back to Victoria. Oh, and a couple things before that. Like I moved back to Victoria, and also I accepted a. I didn't accept. I demanded a position as an agent in an entertainment agency years ago. I called up the CMI Speaker Management. And I said, I want to work for you, and I'd never done that work before. I knew I wanted to be an agent, and I had no experience other than a degree. And she let me in after I kind of wouldn't stop hounding her. So, in a nice way. And that was one. And the second was coming back to Victoria. I was able to do stuff. I'm able to do stuff here that I wouldn't have even wanted to try in Calgary.
Gotcha. So, overall, did you feel encouraged or discouraged by your community as you were going through the process of discovering your purpose?
Um, Neither. Even I mean, neither. I mean, sometimes you get discouraged. I mean, I think the people closest to you, like your family, will always question you on stuff, and I think that's cool. My parents definitely did, um, but for the most part, it's your game. I mean, unless you have people who are just around you who just are completely negative to anything that you like to do, which is not a person I'd be wanting to hang around. People are just like, cool. But no one really cares, really, in my mind, until they see the result. And then all of a sudden they're like, you did what? And then they're like, wow, that was really cool. Like, that's usually how it goes. It's a lot of time on your own, or depending on what your work is, where you're just working all these little jobs to make a big job look like it was just always there. So that's when I think I noticed it most, was when people were like, oh, wow, that exists. That's really cool. But in the meantime, it's just like a lot of hours to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, for you personally, what's been hard? What are some of the obstacles that you've faced um, in transitioning into your soul purpose?
I think for me the hardest is financial, because similar to what I just said about 5 minutes ago, for me, I know how businesses work, and I know it takes a few years to push it in, but just living lean and pushing through that. I think that's the hardest for me. Just from the way I was raised, everyone has different securities that way. I've worked with some amazing entrepreneurs that don't give a damn. They know, they know, they know, and they spend money fluently and easily. For me, I'm more of a frugal person, so I think that's the hardest for me. Doing the work is really easy because I can get lost in it and come back at 10 o'clock at night and go, oh, like today, it's terrible, but I know how my week's working. I'm going to be in meetings all week, so I've been working since 8 a.m. I haven't walked outside. So to some people that would bother them. To me, it's just like, no, I got a couple more hours to do, and then I will go work out and enjoy my evening, so I can do my meetings outside next week and not throughout the week and not think twice.
Gotcha. So, how do you deal with tough times on an emotional level? What helped you get through the obstacles, or what helps you?
Well, I think there's always obstacles. For me, there's always something.
Mhm.
Uh, if the obstacles ended, I think life would end. But mostly is friends, family, and probably in the same, equal. Uh, Working out, I have to work out almost every day. Do something physical, because I find once I'm physically exhausted, my mind is in its best shape. Between that working hard and then exhausting my mind physically, great. And then at least 3 or 4 times a week, do something really fun, whether it be watch a movie with a friend, which is really fun to me. Go to theater, go try something that I've never done before, volunteer somewhere. I don't know, like I had a speaker who I represented for years, this really wise guy, New York Times best-selling business writer. He said, always volunteer, no matter how busy you are. It always kind of sets you up for the most happy place. And it's true. It's like when I volunteer for stuff, it always makes me pretty much the most happy of most of the activities I do because everyone's so happy that you're helping them out. They're like, you're helping me out? I'm like, yeah, of course. It's why. It's no big deal, but it's a big deal to them, so it's really nice.
Wow, great. So, Ari, what's different about you now that you're living in your purpose versus when you weren't?
Well, again, for me, it's like these little steps. I'd say the more I'm able to embrace uh, things that I love to do and I'm willing to work really hard at, it's this different level of confidence. I think it comes. I've seen in a lot of people's eyes who I believe have done all those little minutia steps to get to where they are. They have this confidence and glow, and we're like, when we see them on TV or in movies, which is like way, way beyond the average person, but that's my only reference point. We're like, there's something about that person, and that I could say that it's in myself at a minutia level of that person who's made it to the big leagues, or at least perceived big leagues, that I have that kind of like confidence that I would have never had if I didn't take and use things that I love to do.
Great. So, Ari, how has your impact on the world changed since you've been living your purpose?
Oh well, it's it's kind of neat because I'd hear stories about it all the time. It was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite things about being a speaker agent is after a speaker finishes doing a talk for whether it's 100 or 20,000 people in a stadium that I'd represent over the years, I'd hear from the planner or from the CEO of the company that like our audience was so happy, and it's kind of that same feeling for me. It's just like, but now it's mine. Like when I did the event at the Victoria Conference Center, everyone takes it in differently, and some people were so emotionally charged about having a place where they were had this opportunity to learn and be educated at for a whole day. And it's something that shouldn't be in this city. A lot of people think because it's not a big enough city. People were coming up to me in tears, and I didn't expect that at all. Because they're like, oh, I've been a celiac for years. I don't know, I was just diagnosed as a celiac, or I just learned about gluten free or something similar to that. And I'm like, I didn't know there was a place where I could be in a community for a whole day and meet people and learn more about maybe things that will help my body better or beyond. So just to see people that excited and that emotionally charged about it was really nice. And to know that, yeah, I don't know, that's what I think we're here for is. create bigger communities.
Great. So, can you explain your perspective on work and purpose? Can they be separate or do they need to be the same thing?
No, of course they can be separate. It's not linear. It's gray. Um, they can be they can be however it works for the person. I mean, here's a good example. I was talking to this woman who I'm thinking about representing, and maybe she'll will go into agreement. And she does like 5 different things, which most talented speakers are. They're like they could be a top business CEO. They could be a writer. They could be like a 5, 10 things. Usually, the most successful people, we don't know half the things they do, and that is that that's what gets me. I really like that, and you just don't. Everyone has a different way of doing it, and so it's just there's no right way.
Gotcha. I like it. I like it. So, Ari, what would you say are the ingredients for success or advice that you would give anyone who's currently seeking their purpose?
Have fun. Like just do stuff that floats your boat. Do a lot of it, and if it really, really gets you excited, that's something that's really deep in you. That's something you care about. It's something that's easy. Um, so do that. Do more of that, and over time you'll figure out how to use that. You don't know. You have no idea where it's going to come from, but just keep doing it. Keep having fun um, as much as you can. And
Great.
I can come. That's it. I don't know. That's as far as I got on that one.
I love it. I love it. Very, very refreshing. Work hard, have fun, do the small steps. Do you have any final thoughts or messages for anybody who might be watching this?
Um, I don't. No, I think you got me with all the questions. I think I don't have anything left.
All
I gotta
right.
get back to work.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ari. It was a pleasure, absolutely, and really, really appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot. That was fun.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.